Hello everyone, how are you doing? This is Amanda. Hope you're good. So what we're going to be doing today is an energy reading using the supermoon, full moon in Scorpio on the, well, it's a bit contentious actually when it actually is. I've got two astrology diaries here. One tells me it's on the 26th and the other one tells me it's on the 27th. I suppose it depends where you are in the world. But to be honest, any of us that are sensitive usually tune into powerful supermoon energy a few days before, on the day itself, and then also a few days afterwards, at the very least. So I would say, sitting down to record this today on Saturday, the energy is just starting to come in, and it will only get stronger. So I thought I would dive straight into it and take a look, okay? I'm going to be using 3 sets of cards today. I always put the description of the cards that I read from in the description box below, okay? And today we're going to be using the Herbal Healing deck by Sarah Baldwin. We're going to be using a brand new tarot deck that I got a couple of weeks ago that I love, which is called the Field Tarot by Hannah Elizabeth Fofana. And I'm going to be using the Tosha Silver deck Wild Offering Oracle. And maybe my own, but we'll see how we go. Now, I sat down to do this today thinking, okay, Scorpio full moon, intensity, transformation, depth, overwhelm, emotions, all of that, okay, which is probably all true as the wind rushes through the window. But actually, what I'm really drawn to link into is the green ray, which is linked into fertility. And I can't get away from the green ray. I mean, I've got, yes, green sprays that I'm going to use, emerald, jade, teal. I've got green crystals sitting in front of me. One of the first things Metatron said today to me was, go and get moss agate. Okay, I think I've got a piece somewhere, so I scrabbled around. I've only got a little piece of moss agate, but this is my piece of moss agate, okay, moss agate. So I looked up the meaning of moss agate, and it is to do with the heart chakra. It's good for wealth. Now remember, we're in Taurus season, and Taurus links into money. A couple of people are actually, just as a side note, are asking me about things such as financial reset, what's going on with money markets, etc. I actually did, even though I say so myself, I think a very good video on financial reset a year ago. And I know it stands the test of time. So you might want to look back at that because it's very relevant for what's going on now. I might refresh and look at it again, not in this video. But anyway, moss agate, good for wealth, helps the growth of new crops. That's the key thing, helps the growth of new crops. Now, what I'm being told, I'm not an astrologer, this is just intuitively what I'm getting, but I think I'm correct, is that whatever was occurring last October or November of 2020, the seeds that you planted then are coming up for not quite harvest, but certainly being able to see the shoots around the time of this Scorpio full moon. So you've got to take yourself back to last October, November, have a look at what was happening, what you were thinking, dreaming, planting. There may not have been a lot of action between then and now, but it's as though we're going to start to see the green shoots of whatever was occurring around that time. Now, please also remember as well that it works both ways. So you must plant good seeds, okay? So if at that time, we're all human beings, we all have up and down moods, you were going through a very difficult time maybe, and the seeds that you were planting unintentionally were maybe ones that you don't particularly want to see spring up now, i.e. more fear, more negativity, more toxicity, more energy of I can't or I won't. Well, what you need to do is almost, it sounds a bit cruel, but nip those seedlings in the bud and pull them up realizing that they're actually weeds. Okay, they're weeds. Even though the weeds might look quite pretty, they're actually weeds, and they can take over the whole garden, i.e. your life, if you let them. So when you see what is arising out of whatever happened around last October, November, if it's good, water it, nurture it, care for it, tend for it, okay, like you would a plant that is just starting to bud. But also not expecting the first bud to make up the whole tree, okay? So that needs to be a degree of patience, but we are going to start to see new beginnings. So that's the first thing I wanted to say. So yeah, moss agate, good for wealth, helping for the growth of crops. I keep being drawn to crystals that I feel are also particularly helpful for what we're going through at the moment in our world with regard to pandemic. So it says here that green moss agate is good for cleansing and detox. You know, whether you've had it or haven't had it, i.e. the virus itself or the jab, I keep saying we need to be strengthening our immune system. Your immune system can't be working in the best shape it can if it's full of toxification within your body. So maybe time for a gentle detox, okay? But this stone is also good for digestion, the immune system, the eyes, dehydration, fungal infections, cold and flu symptoms and skin disorders. And it releases trapped emotions, helps anxiety, stress and tension. Sounds pretty good to me, you know? So good crystal to be linking into. I was reading that description, just give credit where credit is due, from the Crystal Healer book by Philip Hermit. I like his books. Okay, I've also got Iona stone as well, and that just reminds me of journeying and travelling. How far have you come? How far have you journeyed in your mind or even physically over the last few months, particularly from October to now, as we're coming into May soon, okay? That's just a question. So, and then I'm hearing Metatron just say travel on. Interestingly, I did some work yesterday linked into the Tree of Life, just some private commissioned work. And those of you that have been with me a while, you might remember that we used to have a Tree of Life spray. And it looked like this. And I said to Tracy, can you make me one up, please? Because I feel like I need it again. We need it again. It actually was probably one of the least popular sprays we ever did. And I just think it was a bit ahead of its time. I think that maybe we didn't quite understand it, how it could help us. Maybe there was also part of me that wasn't fully ready to embrace it. But it's well, when I say it's back, it's not back in the shop yet. And Tracy's probably hiding under a desk as I'm saying this, because I know she's taking a couple of days off next week. So it's not going to be ready yet. But if there is a demand for it, let me know. I think it will help us, because those of you that have got my Metatron Oracle deck, you'll know that we have the Tree of Life card in this deck. And if I can just find it, I just keep referencing back to it all of the time. I've talked about it on various videos recently. I keep talking about where are we on the tree. You know, we descend from spirit to matter. How are we doing the journey down the tree of life in this lifetime? So shall I just spray the spray and then we'll get into doing some cards. It's interesting. I'm hearing two words. Oh God, it smells gorgeous. Sorry, it's got hyacinth in it. I'm from memory, I think it's got hyacinth. That is amazing. I love the smell of hyacinth because it smells of spring. And the other thing with hyacinth, I'm talking about the flower now, although this smell is actually persisting as well. The smell of hyacinth is quite strong and it stays in the room, and it also stays for quite a long time. And that feels symbolic of the spring energy. Even if you're in the other side of the world and you're about to go into winter, let's harness this light and this energy of hope and this energy of new beginnings and this energy of transformation. The transformation is bringing in the new beginnings. So yeah, 2 words I'm hearing: pit stop. Pit stop. Let me write that down. This full moon is a pit stop. Okay. I'm being shown the racing track, you know, as though we're all the Formula One racing car, you know, drivers. Now, God forbid no one's going to get, you know, taken out of the race. I'm not saying that. But what I am seeing is that sometimes the pit stop in those races is planned. You have to stop on round, I don't know, 5 or whatever it is. And you have to go in and you have to get new tyres. You have to get refueled, because you can't do the next part of the, you know, the race without the pit stop. So sometimes it might just be maintenance that's going to be happening over the next couple of days. You're going to be forced to take a retreat, to go very deep. Scorpio is all about depth. It's about intensity. It's about going deep into ourselves and transforming. But some of these pit stops as well may be slightly unexpected. You know, think of the racetrack. You might just get like the blown tyre. This is all symbolic, by the way. I'm not talking about real blown tyres on motorways. It's symbolic. You know, it's as though there's something that happens unexpectedly and you have to go into the pit stop. I think I'm right in saying, let me just check this. Yeah, the Scorpio full moon, I think, is opposite Uranus. That's what I'm seeing here in this analogy, because Uranus is the unexpected. It's actually to do with almost expect the unexpected. And the unexpected can come in to take you into the depths. You should embrace going into the depths rather than fearing it, because the depths are the place that you need to be in to be able to find the gold. I'm just being shown this beautiful sort of mermaid type energy going right down to the bottom, you know, of the swimming pool or of the lake to retrieve the gold and then bring it back up. But it's only because she remembers it's there in the first place. So something seems to stimulate or trigger a pit stop in our life around the next few days. Anything else to say about that, Metatron? Pit stop. Okay. He's saying, very much like a racing track, when you go into the pit stop, there is expert help there, ready and waiting for you. And they can get you back on the road or on the path or back out into life quickly, as long as you don't resist the process, okay? So, what was that? I used to love wacky. Do you remember Wacky Races? Do you remember Wacky Races? Anyway, I think there was it Dastardly, whatever he was called? I'm being shown there was a character in Wacky Races who never wanted to actually stop, you know, because he wanted to get one over on everybody else. He wanted to cheat, basically, and get to the finishing line before everybody else. I guess that's why it was called Dastardly Races. Well, if you do that, you're going to come a cropper, basically, because you're being asked to take the pit stop for your own good, okay? So let's pull some cards and see what we get. Interesting. And I tell you what, I mean, in the world at the moment, I think I talked about this in my last video, everyone's feeling pretty overwhelmed, or there is an element of overwhelm. If you're not feeling overwhelmed, certainly there are many issues in our world that are overwhelming. So, you know, just taking a moment to breathe is very important. And Metatron's saying, again, the analogy of birth, in the most intense moments of birth, that is when you have to remember to breathe, okay? Or take the pit stop. In the most intense moments, that's when you have to breathe. Remember to breathe. And you see, what actually happens is when you go through a very intense time, and you know, the Scorpio full moon is intense. When you go through a very intense time, we can actually do the exact opposite of what we need to do. And in terms of breath, you actually hold your breath. You know, you can actually hold your breath, or you can shallow breathe or fast breathe. So this is about taking a deep breath. remember to breathe. Okay, let's pull a couple of tarot cards from the Field Tarot. What do we need to know, please? Metatron for the Scorpio supermoon. Surprises is the first thing I'm hearing. There are going to be some surprises. You are going to be surprised. Then the Lovers comes out. Okay, interesting. You are going to be surprised. And then we have the card of the Lovers. Now, the Lovers can actually be the lovers. So this can be a direct reference to love. Maybe a choice in love, or maybe a lover coming towards you. I don't know. Union of some description. But it's also the card of choice. So it does feel, because I was talking about you're going to be surprised, it feels as though a choice comes in. Maybe linked into love, but it doesn't have to be love. It can be any area of life, really. What I'm now hearing is, are you going to choose you? So whatever choice you are potentially offered or given by the universe, by another, are you going to choose you? What that means is that you choose the thing, the person, the situation, the job, the behavior, whatever, that best serves yourself. Not from an egotistical perspective, in terms of, well, I just, want it all. Not that, or none of that. It's more to do with going into your heart, dropping into your heart. Does this choice serve me? Is this choice actually what my heart has been calling for? Think back to the seeds that you might have planted last October, November. What was your heart asking you to seed around that time? It strikes me that all of this green energy that I'm surrounded by with this reading, and the green crystals and the green sprays, etc., it's very linked into the heart chakra. What does my heart want? Okay, so it's interesting because I'm a great believer in it has to be heart and mind. Okay, we can't just be completely heart-led and logic goes out of the window. But there does feel with this Uranian energy, it's as though, I'm always wanting to say the mind just needs to take a back seat. The heart is going to take a big step forward, whatever that means to you, okay? We've also got on the bottom of the deck, before I pull any other cards, we've got the King of Wands, which is the energy of leadership. So it may well be that you are being given the opportunity or the choice to step up more into a leadership role. Now, following on from my last video, which was called something like it was to do with asking us to champion something, okay, to stand up for something. I think that's how I phrased it. What that's really all about is asking you to be a leader in your field. And there were amazing, lots of beautiful ideas, not just ideas, things that people did passionately and do passionately believe in. And a lot of people were writing it in the comments, standing up for the homeless, standing up for animals, standing up for abused children, standing up for abused men, standing up for the environment, whatever. Lots of different ideas, all brilliant. Standing up for something, leading, okay, but making a choice. Let's see what else we get. Before I do pull another card, you know the way I work, as soon as there's another message coming through before I get more cards. I'm hearing, this is a love message. I'm going to keep it very general because there's so many different ways that this can play out. But it feels as though somebody needs to take the lead in a love situation. Somebody needs to take a leadership position in a love situation, because actually these two have got their backs to each other, haven't they? They've got their backs to each other. So that really, ideally, it'd be better if they were actually facing each other, communicating with each other, looking at each other, maybe even looking in the same direction as each other. And whatever has come in the way here, whether it's pride, ego, fear, of being hurt, whatever it is, it's as though somebody has to take the lead. And the next card on the bottom of the deck, I will just say, is the Magician. Or it was the Magician. I've just shuffled the deck again. It was the Magician. So whoever is being called to be the one to just lead out of this impasse, then I think you're going to be given the sort of oomph over the Scorpio full moon to be able to do it. Okay, so that's another message. Because that card is very poignant, actually. These two people feel like they really care for each other, really love each other, actually. But it's all very unexpressed. And look at that. It's like they're just trying to keep in touch with each other. But it's like, it's almost like become very contorted. It's like, well, I can't actually look at you because of whatever reason, but I just want to sort of stay in connection with you. But I'm just going to do it from here because it's safe to do it from here. But actually, it's like... oh wow, I'm hearing that song now by Bonnie Tyler. Sorry, all my references are 80s. I know, guys, I know. Bonnie Tyler, Total Eclipse of the Heart. That bit where she sings Turn Around Bright Eyes. Do you know the song? Turn around every little time. It's a great song. Go and listen to Bonnie Tyler, Total Eclipse of the Heart. There's something in that. There's going to be a total eclipse of the heart, and somebody just... either one of them steps forward and leads and just says, come on, you know, let's talk or whatever. Or it's almost like the opposite of those are people that watch Line of Duty in the UK, you know, that tense standoff at the end of the episode on Sunday night, which was basically, you know, am I going to fire first? I mean, it was obviously the opposite of what we've got here because it wasn't love. It was actually a situation in terms of gunfire. It was like... you know, drop your fire, and they were both shouting at you, drop the gun, and you don't know who. But this is the opposite. It's almost like drop your defences. Oh, that's a really lovely message. I like that one. Anyway, Total Eclipse of the Heart. Let me pull a couple of other cards before I go on. I will just say, because I might forget, I woke up this morning to a beautiful song which might be linked into this as well. I had to look it up because it's not my era. I heard it's by America. I think they're a band. I don't know the band. America. It has to be Magic or oh God, what's it called now? You Can Do Magic. That's right, Magic. You Can Do Magic. That's what I was hearing as I woke up. You can do magic, magic, magic. You can do magic. Anyway, it's a lovely song. It's a love song, basically. So, and before that, and this is all dream state, you know, that funny time just before you're about to wake up. I was linking into the energy of magic, being reminded of the energy of magic, that anything is possible. And again, if you've been watching me a few years, you know that sometimes I'm a bit stubborn. I can be a stubborn girl. And fairies and me are they're just a little bit too far in terms of fluff. I know I'm wrong. You don't need to shout me down because I love the elementals. I need to get with the fairies. Some people would say I'm away with the fairies. That's the thing. It's almost like it's just another thing. You know, there's just a bit of a step too far for me. Anyway, in my dream this morning, the fairy energy was there. Tinkerbell was there. The Tinkerbell energy. And you know when she just like hovers and she just like waves her little wand, it's like all a bit magic and dust. And then it's like, then I heard that song. So you can do magic. So whoever needs that message, I have delivered it. Right. I know why I have resistance to fairies as well. It's inner child stuff. I totally understand that. It's the child that had to grow up too quickly and take on too much responsibility and duty too quickly and always be the grown-up. So, yeah, my little girl, of course she wants to go and play with the fairies. Will I let her? That is the question. Right. Back to Scorpio Full Moon. 2 more cards, please, Metatron, for the people watching. Scorpio Full Moon. Look at that. The Chariot. Bottom of the deck is the Hermit, and the way I'm reading that is we're coming out of a Hermit phase and we are moving into forward direction. It's like what I was saying earlier. It's as though what you haven't been able to see, what's been underground, what's been hidden, is something is charging more towards us now. And it feels balanced. That's what I like about it. It feels very balanced. It feels a very balanced energy, that. Sorry, can you see the card? They're lovely, aren't they? They're very simple, but I think they're very beautiful. So we have the Lovers, Leadership, Chariot. Let's have one more. And look at that. You see these two horses balanced. Yin yang underneath the supermoon. It even looks pink. It looks like the pink supermoon that we're about to have on Monday, Tuesday. Something's moving forward. Let's have clarification, please, on that Chariot. Sorry, that guy is just... there. King of Swords was there, but I'm putting him back in the pack because he was the wrong way up in the deck. What goes with the Chariot, please? Fear. Now, you see, we don't want that. And then we've got the Moon. That's what I said. You've got to be really careful. This is powerful magic, actually. It's powerful magic. Do you believe in the energy of Tinkerbell and magic to be able to not wave a wand and make everything right? Because, I mean, that is fairy tale. I'm sorry, but it is. You know, we live in a real world. But to bring magic into your life, to bring the impossible to fruition, something that you've really been yearning for, something that you really want, something that you deserve, something that you've worked for. Remember that everything that is in our life to a degree is a reflection of what's within us. So have you done the inner work? Have you or haven't you? I don't know. But, you know, there's also a danger here with this full moon, repeating myself, I know, but it's coming up now in the cards, that you can either create magic or you can create more fear. We don't want to be creating more fear. You see, I just told you about the dream I woke up with, which was really magical. In fact, I had some lovely dreams last night. They were really beautiful and they were magical. Do you want that or do you want that? It is our choice under this full moon. What are we wanting to create more of? More fear or more joy, more beauty and more magic? Which do you believe in, basically? And I know that sounds daft because it's like, well, why would you want to believe in fear? People do believe in fear. People believe, you know, what you surround yourself with is what you become. Think about what you're reading, what you're watching. I know I'm a bit on my soapbox with this subject at the moment, but I just think it's so important to talk about it. You know, be aware of what you're watching, what you're reading. Is it fear-based? Is it, if it's always fear-based, it's going to give you nightmares. Is that serving you? Or are you going to wish in something better for yourself and the world? Okay. Right, let's pull a card from the Herbal healing deck. Let's see what herbal energy or plant energy wants to come forward. I have to say I already pulled one from this deck and it was aloe vera, which is resourcefulness. Let's just see what else we get. Aloe vera is very good for skin as well, isn't it? Because the moss agate's good for skin as well. So I don't know whether people are having issues with their skin or it might be symbolic of the snake that sheds its skin. And new skin can actually be quite vulnerable. You know, you have to protect it. We have horsetail, higher self. Horsetail, higher self. And then we have hawthorn, heart healing, on the bottom of the deck as well. Hawthorn, heart healing. And then we've got burdock, detoxify. I'm not suggesting that you take all of these herbs, by the way, okay? This is just a tool to help us see what the energies are that we're dealing with. So I've already talked about maybe the need to detoxify and try and rebalance our physical bodies in Taurus season. Horsetail is calling me, wants to be talked about. So let's just find the relevant page in the book. Okay, here we go. So there's a quote here from Ralph Waldo Emerson. Every man is a divinity in disguise, a god playing the fool. That's great, I love that. Shall I repeat that for us? Every man is a divinity in disguise, a god playing the fool. Right, it's actually got pages and pages of information, so I need to just see what is the bit that I need to read out. Horsetail. Horsetail comes into your life to facilitate communication with the higher self and higher beings. These plants resemble antennae. It has needle-like leaves, giving the appearance of a furry moth antenna. They are also like, I know where this is going. They are also like technological antennae, which send and receive electromagnetic waves. As with quartz crystals, there is much similarity between how we communicate with technology versus psychic awareness. Okay, I had to put this on my grid that you can't see here today. This is my, it's from a company called Energy Dots. I've had it on my desk for a few years. It's one of these things that is supposed to help with electromagnetic radiation. So I have it on my desk because I've always got my computer on, to help to transmute electromagnetic radiation. There are other things, of course, that you can use for that. Shungite, for example, being one as a crystal. But I was wondering why I'd put it there. So for whatever reason, it feels as though the detox that is needed at the moment by many of us is also to do with electromagnetic as well. To have a digital detox day, or if you can't do a whole day, turn the phone off for a couple of hours, you know, make a conscious choice that when you're going out, you actually don't take it with you if you're just going for a walk or something. I don't know. But there is a call to help with that as well. And again, it makes sense. If you're in the pit stop, let's go back to the pit stop. Scorpio full moon, we're being asked to just do a pit stop and just to breathe, reflect, dive deep, be aware of what we're manifesting. Are we manifesting magic, or are we manifesting more fear? What rabbit are we pulling out of the hat? Then when you're in that energy, you know, again, if we're just on this the whole time, or like, you know, what's the latest, whatever, it's not really going to help us. So definitely at some point over this weekend or over Monday, Tuesday, try to, I'm actually hearing try to do silence, you know, try and have some silence. Take yourself off, even if it's for an hour, half an hour, 5 minutes. We've all got busy lives. See what you can do to just honour silence and also access your own higher self. Let me just tune into higher self, because we do have a higher self spray, so we'll just bring it out. Higher self. Some of you have already got this spray. Let's see what message we've got here. Linked into higher self and Scorpio full moon. Your higher self knows what it wants. Your higher self knows what it wants. It might be different from what your ego self wants. Okay. The ego self may very well want, you know, the bright, shiny toys or whatever, you know. Also, a word of caution with regard to magic. The ego self can want the bright, shiny magic, you know. Magic is a state of being, is what I'm hearing. Magic is a state of being. It's not about abracadabra. It's to do with the stardust, the magic dust being within yourself. You may very well have sprinkled that already last October, November. Some of that might now be coming back, but you have another opportunity with this Scorpio full moon to once again bring the inner magic out and to create some alchemy in your life. Yeah. Truths as well. Some home truths. I'm hearing there are going to be some home truths. Look at that, you know, crystal, quartz, clarity. It's almost like a dagger, isn't it, coming down. Clear truth. home truths. But also, don't always think, oh, okay, someone's going to tell me a home truth. It's as though the home truth is within you. It's like literally, it's like the thunderbolt. It's like, oh, boo, of course. Why did I not realise that? Why did I not think that before? Well, for whatever reason, maybe it's been hidden, and maybe it's also been obscured by some of this fear energy. When we're in a state of heightened fear and panic and anxiety and stress, it's very hard to see the truth. So to counteract these fear energies, these anxiety energies, the pit stop is required. I'm going to call this video the pit stop. Hawthorn for heart healing. Look at that. That tree looks quite sad. Think about the tree of life that, we're all on. Somewhere within your heart there is a sadness. There is something that's been neglected or unexpressed. It could be present day, it could belong to the past, it could belong to a past life. But for whatever reason it's there, and it's to do with the tree, i.e. you, needing some attention as well, some heart healing. So this green energy. I mean, to be honest, in terms of my sprays, I haven't chosen the heart chakra spray. The one I was called to particularly pick up today was Jade, which is the higher heart spray, and the emerald. I mean, a lot of people use emerald green for the heart as well because it's a very deep cleaner, cleanser, and it helps with renewal and regeneration. But no, more than anything, it was the higher heart energy. Now, the higher heart, of course, is the bridge between our physical heart and our throat. And sometimes what is here in our heart, it literally just gets stuck here. We can't express it. It's like, I know what I want. I know what I want to communicate, but I can't get it out. I can't say it because of this, because of fear. What if, tying ourselves up in knots, okay? So higher heart, let's just put some energy into our higher heart. This is, of all the sprays that we sell, this is probably one of the most herbal ones as well. So it's interesting. I'm really being drawn to herbs. This has got thyme in it. Thyme, lemon and ginger from memory. But it smells very strong of thyme as well. So we've got thyme, we've got aloe, we've got hawthorn, we've got horsetail, we've got burdock. We've got all of these herbal energies that are here to assist us. But let's just link into higher heart. What's the message from the higher heart? It's time for me to be heard. It's time for me to be heard. There's a bit of a block here in a lot of us. So maybe just, some gentle tapping onto the thymus. Very gentle tapping just here. Just helps to release any block that's there. But also the higher heart is very much about, are we balanced in terms of what we're giving out and what we're receiving? And again, I think Scorpio Full Moon is going to really highlight if we're overgiving, which most of us probably will be guilty of if we're empaths and sensitives. And sometimes you have to make some tough calls. If people are just taking and taking and taking, a line has to be drawn. And this would feel as though it's the moment to do that, okay? And you do it because you can't keep pouring. What's the expression? You can't keep pouring from an empty cup. How many times have we heard that? So this is a time for resourcing ourselves back up, Again, pit stop energy, refueling the car. We need to be refueling ourselves. So this area here, if we've given too much, just put put your hands onto this area, higher heart, just allow the healing energy to flow in. It's such a comforting thing to do that. If I'm awake in the middle of the night with a bit of stress or anxiety, because it always is the middle of the night, isn't it? You're thinking 110 different things, and what if this happens? And it all gets out of proportion in the early hours of the morning. If you just put your hands here, and just ask Metatron's energy to flow through you, because he'll work through you. The warmth and the comfort of just the energy flowing in here, and all you're asking is, please let me receive. Just let me receive love. Let me receive balance. Let me receive harmony. Let me receive the green ray. Let's bring in the jade the jade ray. Balancing, strengthening, fortifying. It's beautiful. Okay. Now, I also had one other deck. How are we doing for time? 40 minutes. Okay. Let's pull a card from the Tosha Silver deck. That tree does look so sad though. Sorry. I mean, looking at that, can you see these two cards? I'm just hearing the word contortion. We've all got ourselves into contorted shapes, and it's our mind that's done it. It's because our heart's been asking us to do something, say something, go somewhere, embody something. I don't know, it's going to be different for all of us. And then the head has got in the way, the ego's got in the way. We've tied ourselves up in knots. Look at that, the tree. The tree is also tied up in knots. It doesn't look happy. Hawthorne. There's a quote here from Rumi. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. How true is that? It's because we don't want to get hurt. It's because we don't want to get hurt. The defences of our heart go up very, very easily and very quickly at the first sign of danger, almost. And it's all to do with past experiences. It's as though we are expecting the past to repeat itself. That because I've been hurt before, I'm going to be hurt again. So I'm not even going to give you the chance. It's that type of energy. So I'll just reread that Rumi quote. It's beautiful. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. So this is remember we've got this Uranian energy, on Monday, Tuesday. Uranus is to do with, it helps to destroy, but in a positive way. It breaks things down. It brings in change. It will bring those walls down of your heart if you allow it to, but it just does feel with this Uranus energy, and I think Pluto's going retrograde as well, and then Scorpio, which is intense, and full moon, super moon. It just feels as though I'm being shown an energy of somebody doing this, a spirit trying to prise open this. So if you're doing this and you're holding on and my defenses are here and you're not getting close, or whatever, it's like spirit just does that. It's like, oh, oh, okay. And then you just need to breathe. And you don't just go straight back into defense mode. How does it feel to put your defenses down? How does it feel to get into a place where you allow the magic in? Where you don't fear the magic? You let go and you let God. We've said that a few times recently, haven't we? I'm going to say it again. Yeah, I thought that might come up. Perfectionism rearing its head again. But it has to be perfect. It has to be just right. It has to be the way I think it's going to be. However this plays out, whatever area of life we're talking about, where you've been holding on, there's often a perfectionist streak that's underneath it, but the conditions aren't quite right. This isn't quite right. I'm not quite right. I've read this to us before. Let's read it again. It says, give yourself permission to make mistakes. It's so freeing. It's the root of creativity and change. This supermoon's all about change. It's about welcoming in change. Allow me, divine, to make as many mistakes as I need. Free me from the prison of perfectionism. Your heart in a prison. There's a deck that I nearly was going to use and then decided not to, but I realise now why I was going to. It's because there's a card in this deck that I'm now seeing in my mind's eye. And it is the Devil card. This, Psychic Tower of the Heart, John Holland. That's what I'm seeing. That's what we've done to our heart. Whatever your heart's desire is, whatever it is that you want. Look at that as well. That's next to it. Refusing to see. Well, you're going to be forced into a pit stop. We all are. Are you going to allow the professionals, i.e. spirit and your own higher self, to take down... Oh, it's so perfect. The cards are all just sitting there, just waiting for me to read them. I haven't even shuffled them. Are you going to allow spirit and your own higher self to take down those bars in your heart and allow your heart to open up to receive the miracle? I mean, come on, it's just... I mean, it's ridiculous. All of the cards are just here. I haven't used this deck for ages, but this is the message. And to shine. Or do you want to stay in that energy? And I'm staying in that energy because I'm in control. I'm in control. Conditions aren't quite right yet. I'm not quite right yet, etc. You know, we have to laugh at ourselves, don't we? We all do it. I do it as well. Just as guilty as everybody else. But, you know, that's just such a place of limitation. And so we need this Scorpio full moon and we need this Uranus energy to come in and shake us up a bit, rattle the bars that are caging us in. That's where the place we need to be at. Shine on, you crazy diamond, and open up. Allow your heart to feel the fresh air. Allow your heart to be healed. Allow your heart to roam is what I'm hearing. Allow your heart to roam. It's almost like I'm being shown, it's almost like a caged animal that's never seen for some people, it's almost like never seen the fresh air, the sunlight, or not for a while. Allow the ability to roam. Smell the roses, open up. Very beautiful. So I think definitely we need to be working with the green ray. We need to be aware of the fears that we have, but not letting them rule us. And how we let go of the fear is by connecting to our higher self, trusting it, trusting God, trusting spirit, trusting the archangels, realizing that whatever has happened in the past doesn't have to repeat, that you are the author of your own story. If you trust yourself to write a new chapter, you can trust yourself to write it to be good. You're not going to write a horror story by choice, are you? Anything else to say for this Scorpio full moon? Nice. Nice. I love these cards. Look at that. We've got the energy of reliability. We've got the energy of independence. This feels like the energy of spirit coming in and saying, you can rely on me. You can rely on me. I did a very short 7-minute channeled piece for Instagram last night from Archangel Michael. And it ended with him saying, I've got you. I've got you. I've got you. The message was all about the light has won and I've got you. The light has won. The light is caged there. The light has won. Michael's the one that wears the battle armour. He goes into battle for us. He wants us to be independent. Interesting. Look at that. You see, Michael's always the one who holds the sword, isn't he? I know this is just my interpretation of the card, but I was seeing Michael in that, but there's no sword. He's wanting to give us the sword. Look at that. You've got the sword. I'm standing there behind you. I've got you. You've got your sword. Out you go. You can be independent. You can be free. How beautiful is that? Let me grab my Archangel Michael spray. I'm being shown the pit stop again. They love their analogies. I'm being shown as going back out into life post whatever occurs around Scorpio full moon. And I'm being, for some reason, he's showing me the tyres on the car. And like they're really thick tread. They've got good grip. They are not going to shred. They are not going to tear. They are not going to burst. They are fit for purpose. You are fit for purpose. I just think there's so much in those two cards. Are you feeling the energy of that? I am. It's like a reliable soldier that's behind you. And there you are with your sword. Your flaming red hair. Your tattoo. Being free to be who the hell you want to be. Not being confined by what they think you should be. I'm talking society there. Being your own woman or your own man. Standing in your own truth. Look at that black gown that she's wearing. She's gone through the dark night of the soul. And she's come out unscathed. But instead with a beautiful marking. That's a very, very scorpionic image, I think. It's a bit sexy as well. It's very yin-yang as well, these two cards. Very yin-yang. Where were those two cards? This one. Chariot. Hope you've enjoyed that. I think I'll leave it there for now. It's Saturday here. The sun is shining. But we've got gales though, so it's not as warm as it looks. But anyway, I'm going to get out in it and go and, I don't know, go and do something. Thank you so much for watching. Lots of people joining the channel at the moment, so thank you. And give us a like if you've liked the video. Make sure you're subscribed. And I will see you next week. Take care. Lots of love. Bye-bye for now. Bye.